more than 90 years, St. Cloud State Hockey has had a home in the Granite City. Boasting two Hockey Hall of Famers in Frank Brimsek and the late Herb Brooks, many players and coaches have made their mark on St. Cloud State hockey lore. With former St. Cloud State greats like Mark Parrish and Brett Hedekin, to more recent standouts like Jack Ashawn and Jimmy Schultz, two Patty Kazmaier Award finalists and 16 Division I All-Americans have paved the way for current St. Cloud State men's and women's teams to continue the Huskies hockey tradition. This week's guest is one of many who have made their mark on St. Cloud State hockey history as the Huskies Warming House podcast presents this week's Healthy Scratch interview segment. Healthy Scratch interview segment for this week, episode number 50. We welcome in Micah Miller and Will Hammer. Guys, what do we have to expect in this interview from these two guests? Pretty fun time, I thought. Pretty open and welcoming atmosphere from these guys. Ben, what do we have to look forward to from Micah and Will?
Well, I think both guys are really well-spoken guys, and they're both really important to St. Cloud's hockey team, and in different ways. Miller with his speed and his aggressive style of play, and Will Hammer's one of those glue guys, man. He wins face-offs, he bangs, he crashes, does a lot of little things for their team, and their stories are both really good. So I think everyone's going to enjoy what these young men talk with us about.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Nick, anything to add here before we kick it over to our guests?
You know, you're going to see a little bit of a side of these guys that, most fans I don't think normally get to see. And for guys who, like Ben said, you can call them glue guys, but I think, for the guys where they are on this roster, I think they've got some pretty good stories as well as a really good, path that led them here to SCS too. So I think fans are really going to enjoy this one.
I definitely agree as well. And we won't keep you waiting. Episode number 50 of the Healthy Scratch interview segment.
And welcome to this week's Healthy Scratch interview segment. Joining us from the men's hockey team, two prominent forwards, we have both Micah Miller and Will Hammer. Boys, how are we doing this afternoon? Thanks again for joining us.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no complaints here. We're excited to be on.
I love no complaints on a Monday. I think I feel a little bit differently about Mondays, but you guys are special. You guys are joining us for the 50th episode here in the Healthy Scratch interview segment. And it was kind of a special day for you guys in general. Outdoor practice just a couple hours ago at Hawks Park in St. Cloud. Can you guys kind of tell us how your guys' practice went this afternoon? I mean, was the ice good, or was it Lake Tahoe 2.0 out there?
I wouldn't say it was quite Lake Tahoe. It was a pretty hot day here, so the ice was a little wet, but it was definitely fun to get out there and just hang out with the guys, skate a little bit, and hang out with the community a little bit. So it was definitely a fun day. Yeah,
no, it was a good time. I know the goal was not to pull any hip flexors. So cross our fingers, I think we accomplished that. No coaches went down. We had one player toe pick, but, it was all in good fun. Like Mike said, the ice was a little rough, but we made the best of it, and it was good to see people out in the community. And so, it was a good time.
Yeah, speaking of toe picking, what's the deal? Were your guys' skates sharpened? Do they need to be sharpened? Anyone taking care of that's happy or none too happy about that task there?
Yeah, I'd say for sure Minkle, our equipment manager, wasn't the happiest when he had about 20 guys lined up outside his door after the practice day. Told us something over there, blah, blah, blah. Skates are sharp enough, so.
Exactly. Yeah, he came to the practice like 10 minutes late, just kind of wheeling up, and he stayed for about 10 minutes because I think he knew it was coming. So, but no, he's a good sport. He might be a little cranky in the moment, but we love the guy, and he always gets it done. So.
Obviously, Nick Maxon introduced us. I'm Noah Grant along with Ben Holden. Ben, what do you got for these guys here to open off the night?
Well, it's nice to see you guys. As we said before we started recording this thing, I saw quite a bit of you guys in Omaha. We never were face-to-face like the old days, but we'll get back there eventually. So I think where I'd like to start with both you guys, and however you guys want to answer first, if you want to do my number, whatever you want to do, that's fine. Just the experience of going into the bubble and going through that, or the pod as it was called. The experience for you guys, what was that like? Just kind of share with our audience what day-to-day was like inside of there for you guys as players.
Yeah, I'd say we were just grateful, number one, that we're able to play games. Obviously, we would have loved to have fans, but we're just pretty fortunate to play. Every day is just kind of it's just good to bond with your teammates at the hotel. There was a lot of free time to hang out with your teammates and do I don't know, video games, board games, whatever it was. I know we played quite a bit of ping pong at the hotel, but it was definitely a lot of fun the whole trip.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I know we had been going since August 1st, so there was just a lot of practice, a lot of scrimmaging each other, and we were just begging for weeks just to play someone else. So it was good to get in the pod and get some games under our belt. And the key word, we had throughout the whole thing was just we were thankful because a lot of teams, didn't have that opportunity to play. And although there was no fans, it was fun being out there and getting a chance to compete. And like Mike said, it was great just spending a lot of time with your teammates, especially, you build bonds playing games and especially playing a lot of games in, 20, 21 days. So it was a fun experience, something that we'll remember for a long time. So it was good. I don't think I can't see college hockey going through something like that again, but maybe we'll see.
Yeah. Quick follow-up before Nick goes here. So I've gotten asked a lot of questions about it. Doing college football before I came to Omaha and other things. As an announcer, what's it like with no fans? I'm a guy, as you guys know, that feeds on energy. That's why I love doing your game so much, because you guys play at such a high pace. But for me, I didn't notice it. Did you guys notice it aside from no noise in the building, or how was that for you guys mentally when you're out there playing?
I'd say before we started actually playing games without fans, I was kind of a little curious too. Like, is this going to feel a little weird? Like, what's the atmosphere going to be like? But I have to say it was just as intense as there was when we had fans. Like, guys want to win. I know obviously we're really competitive. And, it was just – I was actually surprised at how intense. Like, it's just as intense. And,
Yeah. No, it was good. It was definitely an adjustment for sure. And I know our team had tried to play some scrimmages against each other at weird times of the day, with nobody in the stands, just to get accustomed to that feel. But it's weird how you kind of just like adjust to it so quickly. At first it's kind of a shock because, the big difference between going to UND and playing against, all those fans and nothing. But, I think, like you're saying, a lot of guys were just happy to be playing. There's so many teams and players that were stuck in the off season at home. So I think guys were more excited than anything just to get out on the ice.
Real quickly, Micah, when you mentioned competitiveness, who's the best ping pong player on the team?
Oh, yeah, I had a pretty good showing myself, but I didn't play very many games, so I can't put myself up there. But I think probably Kevin Fitzgerald's pretty good. I don't know who else.
Yeah, I would say Nick Perbix. Like, Kevin wins enough on those weird, odd games, So I can't give it to Kevin, even though he's my roommate. He's my guy. He's good with all the weird paddle sports, ball throwing, everything. But yeah, I'd say Perbs was a good opponent.
Yeah. Guys, I want to follow up a little bit with, sort of the preseason, if you want to call it, a lot of practice time, but then you had Vetti and Miettinen join you guys late November. How, I guess, as a team, when you're trying to develop some chemistry, line chemistry, you're practicing drills and you keep hearing about this guy coming over and he finally gets there. What was it like to have him injected in the lineup almost like 2 weeks, if not max, before you guys had to head down to Omaha? What was it experience like?
Yeah, I guess we were just all excited to actually get him here. I know a lot of the guys, me included, were like snapping him, texting him before he got here and getting to know him a little bit as well as we can. And when he got here, he was just obviously a great teammate, great guy. So the transition was pretty easy, honestly, that he's such a good guy and all of us liked him so much.
Yeah. It was kind of a running joke. Like, is he ever going to get here? We're just like, we're hearing rumors like he's going to get here, September, it just kind of keeps going and going. But he finally was able to get over here. And like Micah was saying, like, unbelievable player, unbelievable guy. When he got here, we were kind of like, holy crap, this kid's good. He's something special. He's got a heck of a release. And he always talks about the offensive game, but he's got a defensive game as well. And so, yeah, I thought he slid right in, and it's fun to have him, and it's fun to watch him too.
Speaking of getting here, guys, Grand Rapids High School for you, Micah, of course, a state championship in 2017, beating the Moorhead Spuds. I got a question for you. First of all, do you know how many points you had in that championship game? Do you still remember?
I'm not sure. Maybe like 3 or something. I guess I'm not sure on the exact number. But
1 goal, 2 assists in that game, and you assisted on the game-winning goal. Do you know who you assisted that puck to?
I'd have to say Gavin Hain because he had like 3 or 4 goals, I'm pretty sure, if I remember.
Yeah, he had a hat trick and an assist, of course, junior forward at the University of North Dakota. Spending your time next in Sioux City with the Musketeers, 54 points in just under 100 games before coming to St. Cloud State. I'd love to hear about both of your journeys to St. Cloud. Of course, Will, you're a St. Cloud State native. As the story goes, when Bob Moskow gave you the call, he told you to think on it for a night, but you already kind of knew right then and there. Micah, we'll start with you. When did you know that you were going to be a St. Cloud State Husky, and what was that transition like?
I think it was just after my junior year, and I think I obviously visited St. Cloud, and kind of right after I left, I kind of knew this is a place I wanted to be, just meeting the guys and just the sense of family and the culture that they had already built, the guys before me had built. And honestly, I knew as soon as I wanted to leave, and the first thing I did the next morning was wake up, tell my mom, tell my family that I wanted to play at St. Cloud, and obviously called Bob, and I was thankful for the opportunity, honestly. And that was a long time ago. It was a fun grind in juniors and getting ready to play college hockey. But yeah.
Will, your journey is a little bit different, right? And the one thing I kind of want to ask you here, because of this interesting season, it is your senior year. Do you intend on staying here after your senior year and coming back for next season, or do you intend to finally hang up the skates? And then what brought you to St. Cloud State? How was that transition in the first place?
Yeah, I guess for this season, I guess we'll wait and see when the season's over. I don't want to make a decision like that right now. But as for my past and how I got here, a little different than Micah's. I didn't know where I was going after I played high school. I had to do 3 years of junior, bounced around a little bit, played a lot of games, had some sniffs here or there, but I was all set to go to Augsburg, actually down in the cities. I actually got a call from Reboyne, and they had an open spot. And as the story goes, he's like, "Do you want to be a Husky? And why don't you think on it?" And I was like, "No, I'm coming. I don't need to think on it. I'm ready to come play." So yeah, it was a journey. It had its ups and downs, but just like anybody's journey, it has its ups and downs. And thankful to be a part of this team and a part of this culture, as Micah says, and a lot of great guys and a lot of great memories.
Will, I want to talk about your journey a little bit here before I kick it over to Ben and Nick. I'm a nursing major, and I believe you're actually going into like healthcare management or administration, if I'm not mistaken. For our listeners, and I'm sure a lot of them have heard the story, but I don't think it ever gets old. What do the words supraventricular tachycardia mean to you? And what was that journey like before you finally understood what those words meant to you? And can you explain to our listeners that entire story for them?
Yeah, for sure. I was kind of, ever since high school out through juniors, I kind of had what they'd call at the time panic attacks. It's kind of like this fluttering going on in your heart. I couldn't quite catch my breath. It was just kind of like a scary moment, and then where you couldn't like calm yourself down. And then kind of when I got into St. Cloud State's campus, they knew, you have to do your physical before you come in, and they knew, it wasn't panic attack. So we had to go on and run some more tests and figure this out. And, it took a while to narrow it down to a supraventricular tachycardia. And I ended up just needing an ablation, a small procedure. And so, yeah, it was a scary time because we didn't really know what it was. And you can Google it and, you'll scare yourself half to death. But, but no, in the end, it was good. And they have great doctors over at Centricare, and I got hooked up with the right one, and he was able to pinpoint it right away. And now I'm good as new now. And I was on all this restrictions for weightlifting and things like that. So I was able to get after it a little bit more and kind of get into the lineup. But I always say that supraventricular tachycardia or not, my first 2 years have been tough copping in the lineup because we had such a good team anyway. But, it was fun watching those guys, and I learned a lot from watching those guys that came before me. So, yeah, it was a long journey for sure, and stressful at times, but I think I've grown from it for sure.
Yeah, I think as Huskies fans, sometimes our heartbeat gets a little bit rapid watching you guys occasionally as well. The one quick follow-up question for that, Will. I believe the process was roughly about 4 years from when you first started noticing symptoms until you kind of figured out the management process for that. In those 4 years, did you kind of know right away when you had your symptoms that it was something different and out of the ordinary, or was it something that kind of developed and got worse over time?
Yeah. I mean, I always felt that I wasn't having panic attacks. That I feel like I'm a pretty calm person just in nature. But so I always feel like it was something different. And, I mean, we'd never really been that worried about it. And then until and like you said, it was 4 years. It happened first time when I was a senior in high school and lasted all the way until, I forget, it was end of my freshman or started my sophomore year, something like that, until we pinpointed it down. So yeah, it was a process, but it is what it is, and you're here now. So
yeah, glad to have you on this team, and wishing you both obviously best of luck through the rest of the season, and obviously Micah in your senior season as well. Ben, what do you got for these guys?
Yeah, well, so I want to ask you both about coaches. We're going to get to your current team, obviously, I'm sure a little more, but coaches that you both had spent some time with. Micah, I loved your head coach in high school, Trent. As a player, absolutely loved the way he played, man. What are some of the biggest things that you were taught by him? And maybe they're things you still use today. What are some things that stand out about being coached by Trent?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is just like being a good person off the ice and just trying to be a good role model. And obviously on the ice, I'd say just trying to bring it every day and just try to be consistent and always trying to get better. I know he helped me a lot with that. And he's obviously he was just a great guy, honestly, and taught me so much about the game and just so much about being a better person. And yeah.
Right on. And Will, you probably know where I'm going here, don't you, or not? One of your coaches with the Magicians, Scott Meyer, who played at St. Cloud, was an All-American. How much and what ways did he impact you as a hockey player? And kind of like Micah talked about, we know it's about on and off the ice. What are some things that stand out about Scott when he coached you?
Yeah, no, I thought he always wanted to kind of bring the intensity. I thought he was kind of an intense coach, and he got the best out of you and made sure that you're on top of your game. And yeah, he was a great coach along the way. And like, Mike said, we all have great coaches along the way that impact us in some way. And he definitely had his impact on me and helped me, get to where I am today. So I'm nothing but thankful for the experience that I had with him and that year that I had at the Minnesota Magicians.
Right on. Nick?
I want to follow up a little bit with that too, because Micah, I think high school hockey minds his opinion. You got to play in probably one of the most beautiful high school rinks there is out there, up there at Grand Rapids. Just the wood paneling, the open trusses. Is it almost like a mecca to play your home high school there at Grand Rapids Arena?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's really cool. It's such a, the town, everybody cares so much about it. You can go wherever you go, grocery shopping, you see people around town, school. Everybody cares so much about how like the high school team's doing. They'll ask you a bunch of questions, but yeah, I definitely noticed ever since I started playing hockey there in like squirts, we would have, I'd say like close to 1,000 people at like some squirt or PB games just watching us. And wow. The community just cared so much about the hockey there that it's just awesome, honestly.
Multiple tournaments myself. And, honestly, as a player here from the cities, it was my favorite destination to go up there and play at Grand Rapids. It's just, you could tell that the community cared about that organization. And for you, Will, down there at good old Richfield, out there just west of the airport there, I guess, playing in the cities and you get to travel around a little bit, as far as juniors with the Magicians, what was that experience like? Or for you just being able to be kind of centralized, but, still having to bust around a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. No, it was different, especially I was in Aberdeen the year before, which is, middle of nowhere, South Dakota in my terms. They had quite a following, and they had a fun place to play. And the Magicians was a bit different. We were in the cities, in a big city, a little more travel as I like to say, but, they brought their own experiences. And, it was nice being in the cities and being able to to go to a chain restaurant. You forget about things like that. And so that was good. So yeah, the Magicians was fun. It was a good time. And like I said, everywhere you go, I meet good people and players, and I definitely did that year.
Going back, Will, you and I are actually in the same birth year. We're both 1996s. What started both of you into the game of hockey? When did you first play hockey? When did you know that this is a sport that you wanted to do in the long term? Will, I believe, did your older brother have an influence on your journey?
Yeah, for sure. Easy on the 1996. I get enough crap for my age already. So, but no, yeah, my older brother Andrew, he kind of paved the way for me, and my mom, she had brothers that played hockey growing up, but it's funny, like my brother was the first one through the door. So he had the experience with tying the skates and getting the right equipment and getting to the right arenas. So I like to say he's kind of the trial kid, and he made it a lot easier for me coming through right behind him. But he was always super good with me, like letting me play with his friends. And I think that was, a big reason, why I got to where I am today. And he's been a huge support in my life, not only my life, my hockey career. So yeah, I'm thankful for him and all he's done for me.
Micah, where did you get your start? I believe if I read correctly in your player bio, the first team you actually ever played for had 2 hyphens in the names, a couple of towns that were together. So how did you get involved in the game of hockey?
Yeah, I'd say it was Crosby, Ironton, Aiken, but I'd say I probably started – hockey's in the family a little bit. All my uncles played hockey, and they played at Crosby, Ironton, Aiken, and my other uncle played in Stillwater, I believe. So, yeah, it started at a young age. I remember playing P-whackers against my older uncles and just obviously taking a welts off with the ball and stuff. But, yeah, it was kind of a hike, though. It was like 30 miles to drive to Crosby, Ironton, Aiken, and I started playing hockey in Grand Rapids, and I think it was like 7th grade. So that was kind of a trip too. That was 45 miles. But yeah, I'd say just my uncles, and I don't know, they just put me into it right away, and I had so much fun that they couldn't take me out.
All right, Mike, I got to ask you this, because when Dave and I talked to Brett before we all came to Omaha, the one thing I said to him in the couple years of watching you and doing games and seeing you on film, I had to ask him if you played football. Did you play football at all growing up and into high school or not?
No, I never played football. I played football. I guess I played football 1 year, 4th grade. I think it was the only year I played, but I did pretty much every sport at one point or another. I played soccer for a couple of years, but in high school, I only did hockey and track.
All right. So you played as a kid, but you didn't play like at a higher level when you were a teenager or anything, right?
Yeah.
So my point was to Brett, you remind me of, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on you. You remind me of Barry Sanders in the sense, I'm dating myself because I'm twice as old as you guys, but all kidding aside, the way you come downhill, man, you play like a running back, you play like a safety filling a gap. Where does that come from? And is there a coach behind that? Or is that just your attitude of, I'm going at you as hard and fast as I can?
I'd say I probably started in squirts, peewees. I was always one of the smaller guys on the team, and you kind of take it personal, like when you're playing games and bigger guys think they can just knock you off the puck. So it definitely started there. And, to play hockey, especially being a smaller guy, you're going to have to, get a lower center of gravity and obviously try to be strong on the puck. So it definitely started then.
Right on. And then, Will, I wanted to ask you about a guy that I was pretty tight with on your team the last few years, and that's Jake Wallen. I love Jake. I see you guys, your reaction. I love the glue guys, man. I love the guys that got flash and dash like the guy sitting next to you. But at the same time, I love those glue guys. What ways and were you guys? I mean, I'm guessing you guys were close, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think.
Yeah. How did he help you? What did he do? And just talk about the relationship and maybe playing with a guy like Jake.
Yeah. No, I love playing with Jake, and I think I obviously knew him and was close with him my first 2 years. But when we started playing my junior year, senior year together, that relationship just grows, just playing on a line together. He I think he's so funny. He's always one with the movie quotes, and he'll crack a joke at any time. And so he was a great player to play with, and he had great jump off of face off, which I really like being a centerman.
Yep.
He always got those 50-50 pucks. And, you know, he was just so fast. And so I got a good picture. I was always watching Wally, and it was just no pressure playing with him. He was so fun to play with, and he was always cheering you on, whether he did something good or bad or whatever. He was always very supportive. Definitely one of my favorite teammates that I've ever had. He's a great guy. And I know, you know, a lot of the guys get a grin when they mention his name because, you know, he's just such a goofball. And I think he had a big presence here at SCSU. So,
yeah. Is he playing anywhere in the minors? You guys, I'm sure you guys know.
Yeah, I think he's playing in what is it, like Rush City? Is it
Rapid City?
Yeah. Rapid City
With the Rush.
He didn't go far away. South Dakota?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I'll have to.
Right on. Tell him I said, hey, next time. I always had great conversations with him. He was a great guy to talk to. Go ahead, Nick.
Will, you mentioned about being a centerman, and this is almost a perfect transition into this year's current team. And watching in the pod, and certainly watching throughout this season, it really struck me how much, at least from my perspective, that Brett Larson seems to trust you and your line out there in key face-off situations. And for a guy like you had mentioned before that has, you know, kind of had to wait his turn per se and has had to kind of work his way into the lineup, how good does it feel that you could almost feel like the coach trusts you, whether it's an offensive zone face-off, a defensive zone face-off, when it really matters? How does that feel to kind of have the trust of the head coach in those kind of tight situations?
Yeah, for sure. No, it feels really good. I always put the pressure on myself. It's what can you do for me now, you know, type of thing. So when I have a bad, you know, draw or something like that in the D zone, I'm always working to make sure the next one's a good one. But, you know, I know I'm a glue guy. I know my role in the team. I pride myself on being good in the dot and good in the face-off circle and defensively responsible. And I like to play north and south. It's not a lot of pretty east and west. But yeah, no, it's good to be trusted for sure. But that's something that I have to bring and that I think I bring to this team. That's a role that I fit into and that I like playing. And so the trust means a lot, but I definitely don't take it for granted.
All right,
Micah,
go ahead, Nick.
Mike, I actually want to follow up on that because, you know, we often focus on the face-offs, the centerman being the guy that, you know, solely is the reason why you win or lose a draw, when in reality, a lot of it is from the wing help. And I know St. Cloud likes to run different set plays out the face-off. I guess as a winger, you know, obviously different situations arise, but, you know, as a winger, I guess, what do you like to do in terms of helping your centerman around on face-off to try to gain control of the puck and then obviously make the next move, whether it's up the ice, out your defensive zone, or creating a scoring chance in the offensive zone?
Yeah, it's something I had to work on, honestly. I wasn't very good at it freshman year. I remember it was something I talked with coaches I need to get better at. It's just a kind of a mentality, being focused before the puck is dropped. You know what you're doing if you win. You know what you're doing if you lose. So a lot of it's about getting a good jump and just out-competing the guy next to you and just wanting it more. So you just kind of have to be focused, I'd say, is the biggest key there.
I'm curious, in your time at St. Cloud State, for both of you, I'm curious, kind of maybe some of your favorite moments, like a big goal you've scored, big moments that you've been in a Huskies uniform. I would love to hear each of your stories. If you could pick one moment, what would they be? Think on that a little bit as I ask you one question for each of you. It's going to be the same question. First for you, Will, do you remember who you scored your first collegiate goal against?
Northern Michigan, I believe.
Northern Michigan, November 8th, 2019. Micah, who did you score your first collegiate goal against?
Western Michigan, I'm pretty sure.
Back-to-back games, if I remember right, wasn't it, young man?
Yes, It was.
January 18th and 19th of 2019. Yeah. For both of you, before we transition into some personality questions, and Ben's, of course, all name team here, is there a moment or a pair of moments for each of you that really stand out as Huskies players as kind of being a penultimate experience to this point?
I'd say, well, obviously anytime we're playing Nodak, they have such a good atmosphere, but the one that sticks out for me is at the Herb my freshman year when we came back to beat Colorado College, I think in overtime. Pretty sure we're like 2 going into the third, and I've never seen the Herb that loud and crazy. So for sure that one's there for me, and it was just so energetic on the bench, and just one of the many special moments I remember from that year.
Well,
yeah, I wasn't even playing the one year, but I think it was our sophomore year. We played against Denver at home to have to get the Penrose at home, and that was a pretty special moment. I I know from like a playing perspective, going up to UND and playing there for me, like for the first time when like in front of that big crowd was kind of like a cool moment. Like, and it's like something that I feel like, not many players and people experience, hopping on the ice and pretty much a sold out crowd and that many people. So I thought that was a cool experience. And there's so many to choose from. There's obviously so many along the way, but those are the two that kind of stand out for me.
Hopefully even bigger moments to come here. Ben, what do you think? Do you want my personality questions first, or do we want to do the all-name team? It's up to you, big man.
No. Let's save the all-name team for the very end. I got to ask him something about Saturday.
Sure.
So, Will, you're the senior. Micah, you'll be there next year, obviously. Seamus Donahue, man, that was awesome. I loved what Rennick did. Who was the ringleader of that idea to do that and play it the way you guys did? I thought it was real cool that what you guys did as a group, Will.
I'm trying to remember what
when you guys skated around.
The hot lap, man.
The hot lap. Yeah. We were kind of there in the back, and we're like, it's kind of weird with nobody in the stands. I don't know who said it first, but everyone's like, we should just do it like a hot lap, see how fast we can get around.
So that wasn't premeditated.
No, I mean, we thought that, we're bouncing back and forth whether we were going to do it. And then Moose was like, should I do it? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. He just, shot out of a gun. And it ended up being pretty funny. And everyone kind of had their own twist on their lap. So, yeah, no, it was funny. It was funny. Something I'll remember for sure.
That was cool, man. So just one more thing. You guys got a couple left. It's going to be a lot different season. The mentality of the next couple games that you guys have left. I mean, you can lose mentally, but I would imagine the mindset is from Brett down to you guys as players moving forward as guys, every game it matters. We don't have 3 games to win a series. We got to win. So just want to get you guys' thoughts on where you guys are at as a group right now with just a couple games left in a regular season.
For sure. I think Coach started talking about it last week or for this upcoming week, just playoff mentality, just every game matters, and every team we're going to be playing is going to be desperate. Duluth's going to be desperate this next couple weekends. Yeah. We definitely need to match that intensity. And for playoffs, it's one and done. If you lose, you don't show up, it's over. And say you have a bad period, you're going to need a rebound. So just having a playoff mentality, I say, is the biggest message for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely what Mike said, we're going to hammer that home. And especially with, how the seedings and NCAA playoffs, like it's kind of, up in the air. No one knows exactly how it goes. We want to be in control in our own fate. And like we said, we want to get used to that one and done type of game. And so that's how we're treating it. But I know for us, we're trying to put together we're trying to get to our game quickly and stay on it for the whole 60 minutes, which, is one of the hardest things to do in sports, is to stay on your game. And when a bad shift or, a bad, anything happens to rebound, to get back on it. So that's our mentality moving forward. And I think the guys are all in. We're going to be pulling the same rope in the same direction. And we're looking forward to the end of the year here.
Use that speed, boys. I know you will. I mean, Dave and I said that after a couple games in Omaha. And Dave talked about, a team like Boston College. I mean, you guys have always been fast. It's no secret. But it just seems like it's a notch or two above this year. So I know that'll be a weapon that you guys use, especially you, Micah. You got the wheels, man. I play that downhill game. I love that game you play, man. So I'm looking forward to watching you guys the rest of the way.
I was going to say, I don't think Micah can slow down. I don't think that's possible for him.
It's funny.
One speed.
Exactly. It's funny to see a puck chipped out in the neutral zone because everybody's on the bench is like, here
he goes. That's how I've been in the booth calling games. Yeah, it's like, come on, go.
So it's fun. Yeah,
it's great.
I've got. Go ahead, Nick.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I have just a couple of personality questions before I kick it over to Nick here. And then I promise I'm going to try this time, boys, to actually be done with my questions when I say I'm done with them here. I have a tendency to not do that. But first one is for Micah here. And once again, guys, thanks for taking the time and joining us. We're going to talk about player bios again. We've gotten burned on them on the past. Did you guys actually fill out your own player bios this year? First of all.
Yes.
Okay. Because we got burned on the big interview with Jack Ashawn and Jimmy Schultz a couple episodes ago.
Those two guys. I'm not surprised he got burned by those two guys.
But Micah, you listed your favorite class is English 191. Are you actually kind of a big English guy, or did you just have to throw a class down? Are you only taking one class? Is that the story? What's going on there?
To be honest, I'm not big. I'm not into really any subject really. I don't know about guys, but I guess English 191 was a class I took freshman year, and I just remember the teacher was pretty cool. And you think English class, you think you're gonna be doing a bunch of papers and whatnot, but he would actually have so many he would love Jay-Z and old hip hop and that kind of music. So he'd honestly do more stuff about that, and I don't know, it's just a cool spin on an English class, I guess. So that's why I put that.
If I'm not mistaken, you're a pretty big Juice World fan too. Did I remember that correctly?
Oh yeah, I do like Juice World. I like pretty much all rap, and I like any kind of music. I like country.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I like to give the guys crap when all they play in the locker room is country some days. So
no rock in the locker room?
What?
I mean, ever since Robbie Jackson left, it's been a little more country.
So he was a rockhead, right?
Yeah.
I'd say Jimmy had a pretty hard control on the music freshman year. Anything wasn't country, it was going to be shut off within 2 minutes.
Gotcha.
So I gotta ask, speaking of country and the more subdued classical variations, does Mr. Will Hammer, well versed in piano and guitar, ever serenade you guys while you guys are hanging out?
I wouldn't say well versed. I would say dabble. That's how I'd describe my musical expertise. But it comes out every once in a while. It did a little more last year. It hasn't been as much this year. Actually, Judd Peterson got us into the guitar and stuff like that. He was kind of our muse, so to speak, which is kind of funny. So yeah, we all picked it up on our floor and had some fun with it. It's a good thing to pass the time. But I don't know, for some reason we haven't been going as much this year.
Yeah, I'd say more Guitar Hero type guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we got the rock band too. We have the rock band in our floor. People used to come and play rock band, so that was a good.
Nice.
That actually moves well into my last two topics here. Micah, your favorite vacation spot is Destin, Florida, and your favorite St. Cloud food spot is Jules Bistro. So I am curious about that, but I also hear you're a pretty big video gamer, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a big video gamer myself. The look on your face is terrifying me because I don't know if you actually are now or not. I mean, who's got the best video game skills on the team? Are you guys big into certain, do you guys play Chell a lot, a little FIFA? I mean, what's kind of your jam?
Video game wise, I'm pretty competitive. I'll play anything pretty much, but Chell I'd say is what I'm best at. And I know me and Nolan Walker, we're roommates, and we get into some pretty heated battles sometimes. So I'd say Brodsy is for sure the best at any type of, pretty much any game.
Yeah.
Brodsy's the best at any video game, but
he's got hours logged.
Yeah. Yeah. And what were the other questions? I forgot.
Well, I suppose I should add, not to freak you guys out, but every year I create 32 custom teams in Shell and create an own franchise with Created League. So I feel the Easton Brodzinski log in some hard hours. But I want to know why your favorite vacation spot is Destin, Florida. Is there any particular affection to that area?
Yeah, I'd say we just go there after every year with some of the guys hang out with. It's kind of been the older group, the seniors from the last couple of years, but just a fun trip to, hang out with your teammates and yeah.
Sure. Got it. Guys, that's all I've got. Nick, what do you have here before we move on to the rendition of the all hair, all name team here?
Well, I don't know about the hair, but
Speaking of hair, you know what, guys, you've been through the pod once, right? And you're likely going to go to kind of a similar 2.0 here for the NCHC playoffs. I love the sports psychology going into a one and done tournament. There's definitely a difference between playing to win and playing not to lose. And, as Brett talks about going into these games, especially these last two against UMD, it's a one and done weekend. You get one game this weekend, you take 6 days before you do another one. I guess, how do you keep, your mentality as trying to embrace the opportunity versus trying not to, shatter an opportunity? How do you keep your mentality straight and positive versus trying to, go the other route? Micah, if you want to start.
Yeah, I'd say I think just freshman year happened, and I don't think anyone on that team really had the mentality of we're scared to play in this game, or you have to come in every game, confident, but not too confident, but you you think you can win game, and you have to come in trying to win. You can't, like you said, play to not lose. That's the biggest thing for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we can't shy away from, any team or how we need to play or a big opportunity. We need to embrace it, kind of be, everybody's same direction type thing. And, I like our team. I like the different aspects that we have. I think we're very versatile. We can play, a bunch of different styles of hockey, and we have a lot of really good pieces. So I think the confidence comes, from within the team in that aspect. And, for us, we're going to take it one game at a time, like you said. We're going to play our game for 60 minutes. And if we do that, we like our chances at the end of the night.
And then just a quick follow-up for you guys, then I'll kick it over to Ben. You would have to probably, at least from what we know, go to North Dakota twice. Once to Grand Forks, obviously, for the conference. And then as the way things are, I guess, rumored right now is that Fargo would probably likely be, the first regional. And, there's some teams like yourself, North Dakota, Minnesota, that might be there, I guess, as a super regional, if you want to call it. I guess, what would it mean to play some of those local schools to have to get out to Pittsburgh for the Frozen Four?
Yeah, that'd be cool, honestly. To go out there and play North Dakota, I know there'd probably be fans too, so there'd be quite a good atmosphere. I don't think we should be scared of any challenge, and we should be looking forward to no matter where we go, and be excited to play for sure.
Yeah, I know. I think it was Pittsburgh last time. I think I was talking to Minx today. That was
2013.
Our
Yeah.
So that was something that Minx was saying to me today, and I was like, "That's right. I love Pittsburgh." So. Like Micah said, we'll play wherever or whatever, but I don't know. Either way, it would be fun, and it'll be fun to have some fans if we go up to North Dakota. But we'll see how it all shakes out.
Well, I'll just say
it's your turn, Ben.
I'll say this. So I did that regional that year, guys. I'm not saying I'm a good luck charm, because more times than not, I get ripped than I get praised for what I do, as you guys know. Not by your fan base, but others. Anyways, and that was a hell of a regional that year. That was the first time I'd ever done a St. Cloud State game. That was the birth of Joey Ballgame. You know the legend of Ballgame, right?
I don't know.
You guys? Joey Bennick?
Joey Bennick, right?
Joey Bennick, yeah.
I nicknamed him Ballgame because every time I did a game, whether it was that regional or moving forward when the NCHC started the next year, it was ball game. I mean, he finished the game. And whether it was a game winner, an empty netter, whatever, he finished it off, man. So I'm hoping I get you guys this year, because I'm back in the mix with ESPN. So it'd be great to see you guys there. Will, I just wanted to have a little fun with you. So I spent a little time last night. You got one of the best names I've ever seen in sports in all my years, whatever sport it's been. I'm going to pay a little homage to a couple guys on your team. Who do you think amongst your teammates would be on the all-name team in college hockey?
Who would be on the man?
Just, catchy, clever type names. Like yours is perfect, man. Will Hammer. You hammer it home, you crush a guy on the wall.
I gotta feel like Ben, if I can interject, I gotta feel like Micah
Sure,
Miller.
we all can.
I gotta feel like Micah Miller's got to be a name that's in there. Maybe it's not like a hockey-esque name, but it's just a name that like does roll off the tongue, like Micah Miller. Like it's just a good.
I love you, Micah, but you're not on the list, man.
Oh.
Come on, think of your teammates.
I think for me, I think Seamus Donahue is like a pretty cool name.
All right.
Seamus seems like, kind of like a cool name. And so I would have to go with Seamus Donahue for me.
Anybody else?
I just got all our teammates' nicknames rolling through my head. I can't even.
Understood.
Think.
One's a defenseman.
Was it Bushy?
Nope.
Nope.
Single digit. I probably just gave it away.
You're gonna kill it. Single digit.
Andre Trable.
Andre Trable, yeah.
And the other guy was Thomas Rocco. I think that's a great hockey name.
Thomas Rocco is pretty good.
I won't bore you guys with the other guys in the league. There was a few. I think Grant Cruikshank is a great name. That's just a good name. And then goaltenders, I got two goalies. Gunnar Wolf Fontaine. If you guys know these guys or played against them, feel free to interject. And the other one I found was Union's goalie, Merrick Pipes.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go. That's pretty good. Yeah, for being a goalie.
So who is on this voting committee here, Ben? I feel like this was rigged. This sounds like
I got a couple more I wanted to share that I think would go well with Will on the all-name team.
All right.
Owen Power at Michigan.
Yeah, Power's a good one. Yeah.
And there was one other one. Tyler Rockwell I thought was good, and I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he plays at Fairbanks. Philip Forna Svensson.
There you go.
Anyways, I just wanted to have fun with that with you. You got a great name. You guys are awesome guys. Appreciate you doing this. It's great to see you guys have success, man. It's been fun watching you over the years. Hopefully I get to see you again in the regionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to do like a Twitter poll or something. Throw it, you know, you can have like a bracket. Find the best.
We can do that.
Yeah,
we got to get Mikey. You're not on Twitter?
Yeah.
No,
How are you not on? Are you on social media at all?
I'm on Instagram. I don't know. I never really got into Twitter. I don't know why, but I don't know.
It's toxic. That's why.
It's toxic.
Micah, are you related to, by the way, maybe there's no relation. There's a lady that follows us on Twitter named Melissa Miller. Is there any relation to her by chance?
Yeah, that's my mom, probably.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I mean, she is in the picture. You never know. I just want to make sure, but she does like all of our tweets. So Ben, for what Micah doesn't have on Twitter, Melissa makes up for it. I'll give her that. So,
all right.
I don't know about that all name team though. It sounds like the NCAA selection committee a little bit rigged this year. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I went through 62 teams, man. I mean, I wanted to, he's got a great name, a great hockey name. I just wanted to, have a little fun with it. So thanks for playing along, boys.
Yeah, honestly, guys, and maybe this is a good time for us to say this before I kick it over to Nick to wrap the show. Texting with Micah, and having you guys, obviously guys like Tyler Anderson, Nolan Walker, all the boys that have come on, we do want to extend it again. We've had a lot of men's hockey guests. By the way, we have Spencer Meyer coming on in a couple weeks too. The fact that you guys are so welcoming to work with us and be able to sit down with us and take the time. I know this is kind of a cheesy, sappy thing, but it does mean the world because you guys are the reason that we get to do this and the reason that we get to have so much fun. So you guys are the guests that kind of got the sappy segment pinned on you there, but I really appreciate it. And boys, we seriously wish you the best of luck and go kick some ass against Duluth next weekend.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks guys.
For having us too, yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. So just a quick wrap it up again. Thanks again to both you guys, Micah Miller, Will Hammer. Good luck again against the Bulldogs in the next 2 weekends, and then definitely up in Grand Forks in the NCHC tournament to conclude the regular season. And that'll do it here for you guys. We'll see you back again next time.
Thank you.
If you're looking for more Huskies Warming House podcast content, there's a place for that. Visit us at huskieswarminghousepodcast.com and follow our Twitter page @warminghouseden for the latest news, notes, updates, prizes, and more. Don't forget you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcast, TuneIn, Spotify, and more. We also are on Google Podcast and would love to hear your feedback on the show. Drop us a line at huskieswarminghousepodcast@outlook.com or leave us feedback in the feedback section of the Huskies Warming House podcast website. And finally, if you know any Huskies hockey alumni who would love to be on the show, let us know and we just might make it happen. And once again, thank you to Mike and Will for taking the time. Always love hearing these men's hockey guests, especially when the men's hockey team is doing so well. Nick, what do we have to look forward to this week as far as men's and women's hockey is concerned for the week of February 21st through the 28th?
First, a big one-game matchup for St. Cloud. They do have to travel to Duluth this upcoming Saturday. It's kind of almost a pre-playoff feel for the men's, and for the women's, I believe they're going to be against Bemidji State, if I recall correctly. So a couple of big matchups as both teams wind down their regular seasons, and can't wait to see how both teams compete, and hopefully we get some W's to report on here for this upcoming weekend.
Of course, we'll have previews, recaps, and everything, all things Husky hockey here on the Huskies Warming House podcast. That will do it for the Healthy Scratch interview segment for episode number 50. Catch us for episode number 51 on Sunday, as well as the Healthy Scratch interview segment next Tuesday. We'll see you next week.